Mr. Obeng Nyarko,
Thank you.
Afisiapa.
Danny, I feel committed.
You tell Nkache. And him say,
You say,
Ope,
much is in your care.
yeah.
I'm not for me, will be also Yako.
Just
Antiasem the cry, just say, Miaka Samaya Basa.
Rehusam said a few minutes before the commencement of the game, this was a living soul.
Yeah.
Anyway, my entonka, and him say you are down, but when him say football, him say won't practice it. Administration no Ghana, but you still have a stake in Ghana football. And see, him say a lot to share with us. But my Musa, what is as in we know, a young one I say, but him say would a bass a shock. But now more time no. Now come ocean your man ekona na eba homu dasa na say unya atinka bi say BBC anytime soon.
That's Danny. I mean, Kama will be a Yako. Na, Mensamo will be Ajo. You said, Yeti on catch it. Yako take a car. Obeng there sometimes. Never be say bad. Yam there, but Asante Bush and fall back together. And to be frank, now me monitor game. I tried saying commercial game. Nah, footage no was bad. The nature of the page and the quality of reportage, Na ɛnyɛ fɛ nti mehwɛ kakra na masan akɔyɛ ade foforɔ. And sometimes I think there was a Premier League match as well. So na mehwɛ no so kakra. So more than who said there were videos circulating on platforms. There's a bit of scuffle between the players of Asante Kotoko and Ishatrema. And so we get what the ball like kakra no. Some of these things na and should I surprising say players, before but we never a bit extreme kakra. But obi a in football akomani and what didn't be on some of these things, And should I be brave. So me just I was asking for updates and all that until I heard the unfortunate news Pooley, has suffered any kakra everything. And personally I shame me because Pooley if for nothing at all, you can never take his love for Asante Kotoko from him. He's maybe one of only two supporters I can say during our 3 years stay in the club, there's not a single venue away match, both from an away match, a Koya Pooley and the team and he was very supportive. Of course, recently he said a few things about us in short-term transfer, which of course normal. He's a supporter of the club and sometimes maybe he doesn't have full information, so with these things are normal. But I have one funny story with Pooley. He called Benin Kobo against Kadiogo in Benin. He was one of the few supporters. I don't know how he managed to come anyway, but before the match, probably. Now, sometimes I think getting access to the stadium or bit Ikaka, so I had to find a way to sort him and other few supporters and the journalists to get access into the stadium. To be arranging for complimentary be movement be and the winner real match. It's a poor game, Pooley was out. I said it was a bit so I'm like, what's wrong? Police will be actually phone in his car. So basically, what was saying is he doesn't have transportation to go back. So my friend Johnson has a police. I didn't know that. And then once the actual problem, it's like, oh, was I have to go back nearly. So lucky for me now, I had some local currency on me, and then but it tells you the love and passion this young man has for Asante Kotoko, and he's everything Kotoko. Ni Kotoko everything about Pooley. And for somebody to travel to Benin, not knowing how he would turn, but for the love of the club, sacrifice everything to come and support us and to see what has happened, it's very sad. And although I'm sad, I cannot say I'm surprised because at the end I see Nebo Boba. Personally, I've been involved in football for some time. I think I qualified to also say something about what's happening. Now, Mr. Tay Bravo, Mr. Football for Katano. Now I'm in history. Right after university, I decided to do ball. I came intentionally to go to be United, but Santana be United was very chaotic with the leadership. So I ended up with Buffalo. They welcomed me and everything. I worked with them. And during those times at Buffalo, those 3 years at Buffalo, maybe I'm a caster. One of the blessings I've had in Ghana football is I've been in Ghana football getting close to 9, 10 years. Obi Ambo Masumdo, Obi Anthony Sambo with that. It's a blessing because I've seen members, people I was friends with, people I Obi the seniors, Yakobo Masum, Yakati Atadi, Mahu referees, Amoya Tuomo, Mahu, Obi Apine Tiko, Sebi, Mahu, Obi Ayamuan, Showa, welcome. What I say, Mahu, Obi, I guess I've seen all these, but Mahu, RTU versus B versus RTU, Master Hansen, Betty match, I just say a fight between like Tamale boys and Shinya, you had to run. Police liberty, Hatta scatter. I've seen all these things, and it boils down to our system that we create, and I think that's something I want to throw light on. The regulations around our football, and I'll throw a few light. I'll give you facts so that to help us to ascertain the root cause of this problem. And probably I can give some few suggestions on how we can deal with these things. Because it's sad, I know I'm not actively in Ghana football now, but since I'm a largest time, I'm still active. I still watch matches, I still look for players, I still speak to people within football. Because many my boss said many conveno. Yenye Brunia over Ghana project or benefiting from the talent that we have. That probably he decide not to put his mouth in our football because of the chaotic nature. But he ran his business somewhere, so be successful at it. No matter how you want to avoid putting, and I think that this will be the first time, almost 2 years I've experienced at the this is the first time I'm coming out to say something about Ghana football openly. And it's painful sometimes. I show Akuma why you still want to come and vent because you are Ghanaian, and this is a Juma Awafa. And I made a statement on a post on Facebook and Twitter. And Madam B, I'm a cost to so Bufachi as one of the national service. Bufachi, I am telling you, Okatachia fever or the braggy pass all free. A village kakra, galamsey crass any day. Into the service, Madam, I would make a clan in China. Say you over for a normal BD near dinner. Me posted on Obeng Kaisha, me say, the wife of Pooley, nearby. So it tells you how these things are interconnected, one way or the other. Now, if I Ghana, the situation of Ghana football now, everybody will bear witness. The most important product of Ghana Football Association, the Blasters. Say, issue BC with the Blasters, maybe in terms of performance, in terms of any other thing we can talk about, that does not bring the best out of the Blasters. What is the approach of the Ghana Football Association? The first approach of the Ghana Football Association is to collapse the existing management committee of the Blasters. So your call out for me, I did buy it. The FA brought a statement to dissolve the management committee of the Blasters. And recently, Yahu said the FA has reconstituted the management committee of the Blasters, made changes in the technical team. And the FA president was boldly posted on social media saying, with these changes, the supporters should rally against the team. So in the eyes of the FA, solving problems with the management of, let's say, the national team or a football club is to do with the management. It might surprise us to know, say, there is a management committee that is tasked to handle the Ghana Premier League. And not only first, near the Ghana Premier League board, near the Division One League board. I served on the Division One League board. I was voted into it. I served on a committee. It's called the Division One Advisory Committee. That was when I was in Bokoko before I came to Asante Bokoko. And this current GFA, Omo can you able to form one committee. Into almost fresh our committee, I think I have that document here. I want to quickly refer to that document. Almost friend of the domestic league committees, and it was formed 1 year ago. A former ESCO member, Dr. Tony Obeng, who was with me, is the chair of that committee. Other members of that committee, Mr. George of Adriana Stars, or Hilary Boatin, Cleopatra and Ketia, Mr. Alphonse Kujo Agbosisa, he's my former boss of Okotano. Mr. Kosiedu of Bebiani Gold Stars, ASP Yakubu Asamani, Mr. Alex Ababio, former CEO of Ruanfo Football Club, Fifi Teki, and Asam for you, Johnson. So, if for nothing at all, 3 members of this committee are people who run football clubs in Bonafo. Mr. Jojo, face with the Ghana Stars, Alphonse Kujo Kwesise, formerly of Bofaka, is now one of the board members and one of the key management members of Isha Temai Football Club at Samabam. And then Mr. Alex Ababio, former CEO of Bofaka, currently the owner of the BB Football Club, which is in the Division 1 League. So when, per my experience at the Division 1 League board, it is the responsibility of this committee to take care of the Premier League and the activities of the Ghana Premier League. Now, when the FA released the statement, I'll share the statement to someone who can put it on a platform so people will really understand. One of the important responsibility they gave to these people. So in the FA post, I'll see below are the duties and the role of this committee. I want to, because of what has happened, the matter we are discussing, I want to go to the security aspect. Or say, that was G, that's point G. Or say support executive bodies in liaising with security committee of the GFA, that's the Ghana Football Association, to ensure that adequate security measures are put in place for the organization of the competition. So, okay, this point is basically talking about being proactive. So, supporting executive committees, execution bodies of the in their liaising with the security committees of the GFA. Now, the head of the security coordinator, Mr. Asa, who is also recently was voted as the GACA chairman. And from what I know, Mr. Asa has no history of being a security person. And he is in charge of the security, the coordination of security of the Ghana Football Association. Well, say this committee is to coordinate with those committees to put in adequate security measures in place for the organization of the committees. Or see, track, that's the second point, track, monitor, and report on security incidents to the Ghana Executive Council. So basically, the security of the Ghana Premier League is the responsibility of these people, the Domestic League Management Committee of the Ghana Football Association. Since 2004, this committee was announced, there have been several incidents and several issues with the Ghana Premier League. Mate Marco, a lot of their roles, it's broadcasting and sponsorship, blah, blah, blah. Nothing has been said about this committee, ever. So if you juxtapose this with the management of the Blasters, where the Blaster is the most important product of the Ghana Football Association now, which shouldn't have been the case. BBC or Blasters, look at the haste the FA takes to reconstitute that board of the National Management Committee. But why is nothing ever said about this domestic committee? So I did even the report now the GFA has released today. That report should have come from this committee. Then the committee will send the report to the executive committee before the executive committee can even come up to issue a statement. Because per the responsibility of that committee, they are supposed to inform the FA about security issues in the Ghana Premier League. What I can say from my experience is that security and safety measures in the Ghana Premier League is terrible. It's terrible. And it's terrible in the sense that ideally, you know, and I hate to do this comparison, but I know sometime last year, one ESCO member of the Ghana Football Association got tired of the council who said, yeah, Jamal was a league, school football, he can't send me, you know, such a useless personality. Made a lot of useless comments anyway. But if I know something from what we do there, we have something we call security measures and arrangement before a venue is approved to be used for football activities. One of the security, I cannot go through all, but I can list a few so that we have a fair understanding of maybe a system near Juma compared to what we have here. One of the first arrangements is that every venue should have a CCTV camera that is working fully functional, 24 hours. And cameras are placed on all strategic points, including the gates, including the entrances, including outside, even the parking spaces of vehicles and everywhere. Every place within the venue, you use it for football activity, not just the playing on the field. Even the dressing rooms, walkway, panel, every detail should be on the CCTV. And this thing is communicated to supporters. So people who attend matches really know, say, these places have security cameras and we have security
You
experts
can't
who
get away
monitor.
with because it's in
Exactly,
Bible.
exactly, because we have security people who measure everything. Again, there is a static number of security personnel. That's police. That's police. Most important, that's police. Security personnel are mobile to matches. So when we went to a new venue and we wanted security, we thought that the place was small. The number of supporters who come to watch our football, we all follow there. They don't really have large numbers. So, but it was the police came to our place, did their own feasibility and told us that this is the number of police that we need for matches. So they'll provide the number of police. Or Obia will entrance, they come with their scanner before you enter the scan to realize that you don't have any weapon or any object on you or everything behind you. Look at a bag and they search through all these things. These are basic protocols. It's not anything exceptional. It's basic protocols that everybody has to go through. And then the most important thing that I want to draw this, being able to my point going, is something they call segregation. So basically, that's a segregation. So over EPO on about TV, who they be teams they have what we call traveling supporters. These are Asante Kotoko. Never say New Pooley, ni Adina, no. I mean now traveling supporters. So mobile match, they write ahead of time per the security arrangement. You see, over a while, like Sheriff and Zimbu, they are the two biggest club there. Among them was supporters, among them two points. So they write ahead of time, say, this match, we are bringing these number of supporters. So make security arrangements. So we will share that information with the police. So the police, having a full detail of our place, will decide where the away supporters should sit, of course, in coordination with us. They sit those out and they give them specific security arrangements. Nti mekaa sɛ yɛkɔɔ yɛdi kan kɔɔ Petrol they didn't have a lot of yɛkɔɛ na ɔmo ultras and our first match away is something that yɛtaa ka this way yɛfiti yɛfrɛ mo bat nti yɛkɔbɔɔ bat I think they should move 2-1 or 3-1 I'm forgetting the exact score line Abagana scored the goal that day and our ultras ɔmo bɛyɛ na ɔmo de ɔmo kɔtena one specific place so the whole place ɔmo kɔ network so out of excitement they were jumping and ɔmo bu nkonnwa ɛne ade and because of ɔmo kɔ network no the club reported the incident to the FA. The FA asked them to calculate the cost involved, and the cost was billed to us. The cost was billed to us. So it shows you how coordinated these things are. I think ideally, you know, that way supporters have a place they say they have security that sit around them. And based on where they sit, they have where they park their bus or where they park their vehicles. So right after the match, it's the responsibility of the security to march the away supporters to their bus and leave. And this thing, I mean, and it's not really anything strange. We see it all the time when we are playing, especially say Ghana, a ball. Because the last time a ball against Egypt, a show for the World Cup qualifier. The Egyptians are supporters here, and that arrangement was also made for the Egyptians as well. So it's not anything new. Unfortunately, these basic security measures, that in fact is and yet something extraordinary. It's basic principle in football, both at FIFA, at CAF, and even the JFA is aware. No, none of these things are observed when it comes to the Ghana Premier League. None of these things are observed. It's sad, but none of these things. I've traveled with Asante Kotoko. I've traveled with Bofakwatano. The only time a place is reserved for now traveling with might be the management. They reserve a place for you at the VIP. And sometimes management you have to stand. So the supporters have to mix up with the home supporters. And obviously, even the Ebo House and Kotoko, sometimes, knowing the history of these matches, how many people can tell me, say, in himself has for back Kumasi Omote, the seat under the, kind of say, under the big, as you can friend say, Danny Boame, big screen,
Scoreboard.
scoreboard, very good. But of course, he say a lot of house supporters sit among us anyway. But at least this is not the right protocol that you put in place if you want to ensure proper security measures when it comes to football. And so from hindsight, Obiano say Hearts and Kotoko, we are the two biggest football clubs in Ghana. If you are traveling, we have the biggest love, we have the biggest heat. And Oko Venua, one, the basic line of solving problem when it comes to these issues, by illumination, you can't say illumination simply. By making sure these matches are accessible through the CCTV camera or through a match that is on TV. Because when matches are on TV, at least everything that goes beyond around the scene, it's easy for everybody to watch. This is why we are playing Ghana Premier League. I said you. We don't even have a broadcast partner, an official broadcast partner. We have about 3 or 4 television stations. We'll be adding them. So it's very difficult for you to get some of these. And then some fans and Kotoko matches that have been played this season, with the match not even being on TV in the first place. And we have several other venues. Our matches back. The matches are not even on TV. So it means that anything that happens there, if you don't get somebody to record with his phone, even an said, journalists were told not to record anything with phones. So if that environment in itself, because a street light prevent about 80% of crime when you provide street light on the street. Street light don't provide 80% because it brings illumination, it brings light to what's happening. So everybody knows what I kill here. You never know who is watching or who can come in defense. But then all these surrounding things and around and all these things has been situated in a way, say, it doesn't provide, we don't provide any security whatsoever for anybody. So as we speak, we don't know the number of people who have access to even the inner perimeters. Because as I said, the talk between players and technical team, we all watch football, even Argentina versus Netherlands anyway. So the governance, I don't know, the matter resolved between them because it is coordinated. People can see people who are misbehaving. Easy to be a referee to get a report and punish those who are in charge. But we have a lot of matches, so the person knows in his head, say, there's nothing that will spot me anyway. So the opportunity has been given to me to harm people. Secondly, I'm using GFL and the Blaster as example so that we get to understand our conditions. If you misbehave as a football club or as a national team, you carry several Blaster matches, people jump the fence and enter the pitch. We take pictures with star players like Kudus and Pate. And you realize that when we are punished, the punishment CAF will give us is to sanction us or fine us. Because in business, if you want to really hurt a business person, you come after their money or you come after their reputation. This is a situation where previously we had a kind of saying, we had a situation where Ghana was, the Ghana Premier League was having sponsors. That was from Bet Power and Star Times. And local Bet Power and Star Times, you can do. I think Star Times was giving about 30,000. And I'm forgetting the exact amounts we're making from Bet Power. So, let's run it all about $50,000. This $50,000 was given to class free of charge without any criteria to meet. Listen, $50,000, about $50,000. The GFA was sharing this money free of charge to the clubs. All you had to do was to provide your bank account. I remember at the time I bought of there was this one or two. The FA asked for the account, we didn't send it, but they still managed to put the money in the account anyway. So there's no criteria, there's no requirement, there's nothing that should say if you're a football club and you're not able to provide the very security measures, because I've been to venues that we go to pre-match. I don't think so when they say Kotoko pre-match for 2 matches when I was there in the 3 years. We go for pre-match because of the category of our match. If you get about 20 policemen, you go to on the match, police for 1 year 4 5, community security for over 10, and that's it. The number is not even up to number. But Babaya, because of it's a big stadium, we have a relationship with the police. So sometimes you come to Babaya, we have over excess of 100 police people crying. But you go to away games and you have only 4 or 3 security people. And sometimes the match commissioner will put in the mind that the security was not adequate. But how are clubs punished? Nothing. So CAF will say, for a single person, getting access to walk to the field when Blaster is playing match, and you can have me or picture with Kudis Keke. It's a CAF to me fine here around 30,000. I've forgotten exactly. We are research about that amount. Around $30,000. Say Obi's baby, how much did the FA fine them? So that money is absolutely nothing to the clubs. So imagine we have the sponsorship arrangement that is giving clubs about $50,000, and you say if you have people in that perimeter, how many the right, the kinds and qualification to be there, or if the security breach, if you don't have the right security measures for the matches, you are going to fine you $50,000. That is half of the sponsorship money the person is entitled to the year. I'm telling you, every club will put in the right measures to make sure these things happen. Even if you are not providing sponsorship, you can still use Donald Trump. What about any day when you President Donald Trump? What is Donald Trump using to fight people? Yeah, tariffs. Basically, tariffs is paying extra taxes on goods and services that's coming from other countries. What does the FA do in this scenario? So they give the person 3 match home ban and fine you 100,000 cedis. What is 100,000 cedis to a football club playing the Ghana Premier League if they want to be diabolical? It's amount of money they can afford to pay. Or the money to pay. Sometimes they go and negotiate and it's 25,000, 20,000, 5,000, 3,000. Convert this money to dollars or euros. And you realize that the value of the money has nothing. It's like I said, one to both float was not that. So the measures we really put in place in the first place now to set up. See a single person I see page swap or picture, final $30,000. Then sometimes you have the communication manager of the FA coming already and says, Mama copy and all those advocates, What does the FA do when people abuse security measures or when we have excess numbers in the inner perimeter? We don't know what has happened. And that's really nice because we had extra people who had access to the inner perimeter. And because of that, it caused chaos. We had traveling supporters who had no security, no special security arrangement to even limit their movement within the stadium. Because no matter what, you're a traveling supporter. Why should you have access to the stadium? Why should people even confront in the first place if you have security around you? So what has happened, it's unfortunate. It's sad. But if I say I'm surprised, then I'll be lying. Because Ebuboba. I've traveled in Kotoko in several places. I've seen the things that we've been through. Countryman Songo, Mekayene, this our supporter. Oh, Nandi. First one year took a lot of away matches. I call Karela Mubono just because almost what said that I be an about yourself. And I want Trafa, or Chapak, Mushi, and Kotoko Mala, I didn't have Karela. Asasira. But if the right security protocols were in place, in the first place, we would have written to Karela and say, we are coming with this number of supporters. Karela tell us Asante Kotoko, your supporters are supposed to sit here. We provide enough security. So Asante can go in Arabia, but you have security around it, and you don't even have access to even move around the stadium. So this whole thing is avoidable. We play Ghana Premier Leagues in venues where we don't even have CCTV cameras. A lot of people on this platform, we have CCTV cameras in our houses. That part where I live, I have CCTV cameras here. We can have all the conversation, but we have a system and a structure that is not working. We have a management committee that nobody even knows about. I can tell you that Sengwambo Management Committee wants a lot of that don't even know that Dr. Tony Obeng is in charge of managing the various leagues that we have, the Ghana Premier League, the Division 1 League, and the Women's Premier League. We don't even know this. We don't know who is the security coordinator of the Ghana, which is Mr. Ansa, who is not even the security expert. So what was the security briefing before this match? What was the investigation that has been done? Can even hear military assistant now? Because I've been a supporter of BA United. Before I qualified to the Ghana Premier League that season, there was a fierce match between BA United. BA United first went to Dover. And Omubu BA United supporters a for them for some days. So the return leg, everybody knew it was massacre for BA. So the security coordinators met. Agreed, I think that those times with the management, with the the National Premier League Management Board, PLB, and decided to come with the military. Everybody should know we are not to commission, but we are to say we are watching preferring bully. You probably need to go now, but we are transferred to the net now. Military for 4, per man also, Akonya will be uncotanasi. I say a pammy. Yo, we are cotanasi. Oban see, so person called you. So we see a catch them here. Now my director to your coding, so we are not sabbath. I join up by Nyarko Nisi Park, the same United.
Where the friend say, David, where friend say, please say, may I go out to unit? He say, please say, may I go out to unit?
October, say, Akunya, so college party to know what but we have it net because everybody wants to also show power. I'm not saying Akunya was we are for tenacity. I said, in school, cry about it. We all went, we took our seat because there was enough security that day to make sure they said, we made mistake. Now, two Bokrana and now two Sukrana was so bad. In our place, maybe I say, we have policemen who come to the stadium. And all that they do is to stand in front of the supporters and watch them for the entire duration of the match. And guide supporters to walk out of the venue. They don't train any people of match. And this is not still also. I'm talking about police. That is their responsibility. They help people to sit. Obana will take it number one, take it that they can guide you where to sit. And Obana supporter, you know there's a CCTV camera in place. There's police in place. They can scan you or gate. So those measures alone is enough to ensure about 80% of this. Of course, of course, there will be extreme cases. Either people can still step out of these security protocols to do, but at least we protected people to that extent. We all saw what happened in Lagos. As a supporter, you felt the need to step on the foot to go and defend the club. What was the protocols at stake? At the end of the season, what happened? Kotoko was fine, big one. Let's go and check the value. Kotoko was fine. Lagos City was equally fine. How much was Lagos City fined? And the personnel
David,
involved.
sorry, say but from the working, Senka, and she said, Papa, security arrangement, Papa, and wouldn't take Pooley to go and defend the Kotoko supporter.
That is what I'm saying, Danny. Because the work of a supporter is to be a supporter, not to. But they don't say a supporter. In the end, it will get to a point say the person might feel say I have to step in and protect my club. Because where is the security measures? What is the report? So I think going forward, going forward, I think I support the call like the post I did for the sports minister. Once it's confirmed, you should tell them let's suspend the Ghana Premier League. At least request for a report from the Ghana football. What is the security measures? What is the security situation of the Ghana? Let's call the police involved. Then based on the club license, one of the important regulations for football is club license because it stipulates everything a club needs to do before the club is granted opportunity to participate in the league or whatever we do. The club licensing for what are clubs supposed to do? What are the security measures? Okay, clubs, among 2 weeks, among 3 weeks, every club is supposed to do this in their home venues. So one team, if 80% of clubs we don't resume the league. Club one team, you have to move and play your home matches or a venue that was able to put in the right security measures. At a point, Cote d'Ivoire non league only 4 pitches. And so that time non league 4 pitches. Their goalkeeper who was Konate. Konate shot about 17 goals. Omoton Konate Salzburg for 3 million euros. Yeah, Kotoko, your best striker was a Bella. If guy on 1 million. But no more Ghana, no more Premier League. The Cote d'Ivoire no more on 4 pitches. Anybody out here to scouting behind. So who scout a player from Cote d'Ivoire? You can't just a player from Cote d'Ivoire. There are some few stadiums and you see those stadiums in the videos. And you identify that this player is playing their league in Cote d'Ivoire. Into Danny, I think that this is a test not only for the government but also for the new sports minister. I believe, sir, one of the things he can do in this situation is to call the people, the stake, NSA, call the Ghana Football Association, call all other respective bodies, the security board, let them give you a brief. At least tell them to hold on the football because no matter what, it will be on the premises of a football stadium where we believe that there's enough security to protect individuals. We'll be having inquiry. So give us a report. Okay, going forward, what are the measures you put in place? All right, Yamamu 2 weeks, put these measures in place. After, give us a report of venues are getting these measures we are put in place. If Oba,
David,
now
when
the
him say
Wanyama,
the okay no, I was say interior minister, so yeah, where or you involved.
of course, all parties, even the president should be involved. The president should have a key interest in this thing because football is the passion of the nation, as we say. And the GFA should submit weekly reports to these agencies, the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, or even to the President. They should submit a report every week. Every week, let's have CCTV camera review. Let's see the number of people who were in the inner perimeter for all the 9 venues because there are 18 clubs, so there are about 9 venues. All the 9 venues. Let's have every report, the number of people in the inner perimeter, what happened in the various dressing rooms, how many people had access, where the away supporters situated. Let's have all the reports. If you're not able to meet it, we take you home for another 1 week. You have to meet these measures. Because say you saw Pooley incident, and fan reform a footballer. The severe effect of this thing is massive. Listen, we are in a social media world, and assembly here, the impact of assembly is 1,000 times more. So we knew Ghana and I somewhere else, but now we knew what was going on in US elections. But so that US election, I thought about the news for a catch. A friend of mine is a journalist in Brown, top guy. One of the guys who tired TikTok videos. So after the incident, he was having a narration with me. And one thing he said was that, or a video about what happened and posted it on TikTok. And within 13 minutes, no, we come almost 100K views. That is 100,000. There's no stadium in Ghana for 100,000. So we are combining Baba and Accra Sports Stadium, we are still 20,000 short. But 100,000 people have viewed what is going on. Now, I'm out for I was having a call with my wife this evening. We were discussing issues, and then she was saying, listen, if you were still in Ghana football, I'm not sure I'll allow you to attend any away match because she'll be scared. Sabi, you need to say the back cry fees of her baller. Say, one for cry, a young issue. Not all we are every 2 weeks, they will send you a message to check up on you. And this is football stadiums, and person and collaboration.
David, me, my count many platforms. I was to say more beyond questionable, more beyond question league,
And tell me, to a large extent, if enough security measures are not put in place in some of the leagues, I
Yes,
mean,
say
basic rules, and yet, kind of say rocket science. These are basic. If these basics are not in place, what guarantee your safety as a supporter? What guarantee your safety?
now what to mean? Sorry, so
These are your matches, It means suspended football no, for about 20 minutes because a fan in the stands a collapse. Not a player on the pitch, not somebody on the technical bench. A fan in the stands a collapse. So the football is
As
suspended.
you say, no ball,
They
no
realize the
butcher,
fan is not.
butcher fan Nicholas. Won't show empathy. You have to demonstrate, say, or mama be her born, so respect you.
That's the point.
Then you
And
been yet
so
on.
it's sad these things have happened. It's sad these things have happened. And personally, from where I come from, I understand these situations in places I've been to. So there are venues that people think that those people are more professional. But if you enter the dressing rooms and the things they do, I know you say Musolo Butai Wakasa said the Ghana dressing room it's true. Johnson, Yama Johnson, Garlic, Kube, you can't say Praco Su all these things, Charlie. But the point is who regulates it? Sabi, it's not the responsibility of your supporters to organize football matches. It's the basic responsibility of the Ghana Football Association. If you cannot organize football matches under the right conditions, why do you organize at all? And these were some of the things that now we had issues with we raised and people felt, oh, we were fighting the system, whatsoever. Now the same people who are saying we're fighting the system are saying, he said, Ghana Football Association, Ghana Football is because of us in Kotoko. One element and can don't be more.
David, my member
In
so
all
was
fairness,
him. My member so was him. Ushe say, or how I Ghana football woman pa. Kwambe never first we be took it.
And who be that Dave?
Mary, it's not necessarily about, let's say, the figure, the head figure, but it's about the entire system. Let me explain this way. Let me explain this way so that you guys will have a fair idea about the problems of Ghana football. I will not go much into detail.
David, detail be also dema. Na se say ade na say nipa ewu. One ma details na will be say we be bold ya.
Hey, Danny, who are you?
Hello. Yeah.
I feel them in Kodawa and Nadia
China
Manu
near 1
Pepe.
million, they have 16 football clubs.
Hey, Danny.
16. Tiaman say
There's
at
all the
least
home very
18,
home.
2016.
Obi are no correct or correct yourself for.
Also for catch him say Bible see the church second who say can.
Uma Dave to us way.
Yeah, David also.
Oh, so I'm YouTube, Mpanche. I'm doing fine.
Na me be say oh church system no. Problem no how systemic it is.
Yes. Make a Premier League in buy because the new crown was I think it's the one
Debbie,
I'm with.
Debbie.
Okay. They say Ghana we have a population of 30 million. Nigeria will populate. I'm comparing Ghana, Nigeria, and China using population. Ghana we have a population of 30 million. Nigeria have a population of 100 million. China have a population of 1 billion. The number of Premier Leagues in Ghana, 18. 18 Premier League clubs in Ghana. Nigeria, 20. So 100 million, 20. 30 million, 18. So it means in the first place, our number is overbloated. China, 16 Premier League clubs. 16. Then come to the lower tier. The lower tier. The lower tier, no, Ghana have 48 Division 1 clubs, which for me, based on the research I've done so far, is among the top 3 in terms of number, the highest in the world. Again, baby, yeah. You have 48. Nigeria have 46. So a country of 120 million with a lot of federal states, whatever, almost 46 Division 1 clubs. Ghana was 48. China was 16 Division 1 clubs. Yeah, they can't Ghana system now. 16. So it means that even the 48 number is overbloated. Now let's go to the third tier. The third tier, China was 16 football clubs. Nigeria, 90 something, 90, 200, I'm forgetting the exact number. About 96 football clubs. In the 30, Ghana Becca Division 2, Nigeria was 96 football clubs. China was 16. Ghana, you have over 1,000 football clubs. over 1,000 football clubs. Bona from over 100 and something. Later, kind of 200 to 300. Over 1,000 football clubs nearby the Division 2 league. So listen, China with over 1 billion of population, they have 16 football clubs. Nigeria with over 100 million, they have about 96 football clubs. Ghana is number over 1,000. So the system is bloated, is chaotic. There are a lot of clubs that do not have to exist. You cannot have over 1,000 clubs when Nigeria, a country with over 100 million population, has 96 clubs. So that is the root cause of our problem. Our form, I think the
Yeah, na
what
David.
said evidence.
David say what Dream Savannah,
The
you
earth
will
was
Dream
without limit.
Forest Zone,
The earth
you will
was
Dream
without form.
Coastal Zone.
Let me explain this. The earth was without form. So the number one problem God identified after creating earth was the form, the structure. The form of our football is chaotic. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. From the Premier League, it's over bloated. The Division 1 is over bloated. Down then over bloated. So we can change it. We can bring people in. We can do whatever we want. But the problem here, and it's say, the problem here is say, the system is over bloated. We're losing the regulations, and a lot of people are formed clubs. And because of the numbers, it's very difficult to regulate it. So let's ask this question. If we kick out kids, do we have a system in place? The person who can come and clean the system and take out about 90% of those 1,000 clubs. Do we have that system available? That is the problem. That's the problem in Ghana football. The system is extremely overbloated. Because China means has 16 clubs in their Division 2. Say Ghana a friend. Now Ghana we have over 1,000 clubs. It doesn't make sense.
Yes, David Metwasi say system na nkasa nipa ne best preside over and so problematic. But when him say MPP unya leader unim the oba beya ultimate things samba. Make me the more time I'm back Kotoko na example Kotoko. And to some but na supporters defragmented obi atitene baby no Kotoko no ho. But mobile most 30 year and year ma supporters get you excited and revived. I don't know make has even virtuously challenge your supporters net harm so as a move for coin between you discover and as one member. And you know, say yenya obi of foresight. You cry up here, because also you cry time Elon Musk a better first no see what transforming. So first now and as profitable as Obertoyen. But no nipa ba akono beto institution kese no and transforming. Enti nipa obeli the organization so very important. So and
Yes, Danny is important, but we have to look at the conversation from a more broader aspect, even including the government as well. The government has to really have its own initiative on our football. Look at how Saudi has used football to wash their image on the international scene. Look at how Saudi has used their football. Look at Rwanda. It's a national policy. Because once it's a national policy, there is always focus when it comes to football. It's like now let me use this word. It's like when I hear people saying grassroots football, I'm like, what is grassroots football? Check all the big football countries in the world. Nobody does academies and systems using smaller clubs. You put it with the big clubs. You empower the big clubs to establish academies. Kotoko Ali has over 100 satellite academies because that's how you do it. You empower the big clubs. So we don't build football from the grassroots. We build football from the top. We build this with the big clubs. So you have funding, but per the funding and based on club license regulation, the football clubs should have a junior team. The football clubs. So football clubs are enforced. Because you have football clubs, you will use the money and do other things that we should say it will help us. When the league compete, try and go to Africa, the great and glamour and all that. But once there's regulations, and people are compelled to do the basic things. If you don't do this, you are not entitled to this funding. But we have funding now, and so change the amount of money you put in doing what is required. Everybody will be forced to align. So, for example, let's say we have a branding officer and a football association, or say, okay, in your scholarship, every class is entitled to 100,000. Only website that you will deduct $10,000 from your money. There is no website a football club will build that is more than $10,000 in this country. The maximum you pay is $1,500. So the club will sit there and say, I cannot say that me build a website and then I'll lose 10,000. I'd rather spend $1,000, $1,500, build a website so that I can gain the 10,000. So by that, then you are putting in the necessary regulation. And like I'm saying, it should start from the top. There should be a clear conversation on sports, focus on football. Because let me expand the argument to some extent. Over 40 years in Ghana and AFCON, Nana made a statement some time ago, say, when we were at the 2010 World Cup, there are a lot of players we are chasing now to play the Blasters. Now, maybe 10 years, 9 years, 8 years. So, if you've not won the Premier League, you've not won the AFCON for 40 years. Senegal, it took with all their players, at the point Senegal over 5 strikers, Papis, then Basise, Musa, So, any other. But with all the sports strikers, they were still not winning the AFCON. They had to put in structure. They had a coach who stayed there for 7 years before they won AFCON. Why can't we build a project for ourselves and say we are giving ourselves time? We are going to build to that extent. But like I'm saying, it has to be collective effort. So it has to be a policy. Even during our campaigns and when we are listening to our presidents and all that, there should be a clear-cut policy when it comes to our sports and our football and how we are going to execute it. And then we keep people in line. Because as it stands, government is still the biggest funder of activities of football. So once you give the money, you have the power. You see, he who pays the piper plays the tune. So once we have the money, we have to have our own policy, to have our own. So before GFA can access funding from FIFA, they have criteria they have to meet. So before they can access funding from the government, they equally have to have criteria they have to meet. And before clubs access funding from the FA, they have criteria to meet. If you don't meet the club license criteria, why are you running football clubs?
Okay, Asante. Yeah, I'll be person will be some questions. They become now. But David M said, Lawani, none answer was be opposite baby. Lawani.
If anybody want to ask David a question,
Okay, thank you. Na me pese me oka bibi kakra na ose ukọ China. Omo huge population, but ohwe maybe number of clubs na nyama very less. But no me pese I beg to differ say country bia wo ne interest, you get it. When you go to China, I'm interested about technology and stuff like that. And to compare the number of technology houses in China, you cannot compare that to Nigeria and in Ghana. But Ghana, football is one of our interests. Okay. And you're wrong, say, you bring more clubs and then division clubs in Ghana. But it's all about leadership and clear-cut direction. Say, okay, where you lay down procedures that open form team and now you want to be a football administrator. This is a clear-cut way I was saying when you follow. There must be some consistency and some discipline, some level of discipline. Any BBA I was say put in place so that if I want to form a team and I mean team, meaning say these are the routine I was saying me me faso. What you say? So it wouldn't be like Ubeti team Nikeke. Now you will not see the way forward. So a hot there mentioned that any Mirefinia or Kasa about that, but I beg to differ that we can still have more teams and we can still have a well organized
What I said is that also you're also making reference to the regulations. What I said is that so why are you not applying the regulations when it comes to the operations of football club? Why? And if you say that China does not have interest in football, I beg to differ as well because Saudi project here, Master China for the chance. I remember the amount of money they put in at a point. And then how much they were paying people like Asamoah and the rest to come to China. Even still, when they decided to tone down a little bit, look at the money they gave to Oscars and the rest. I'm not saying he said we should just clear for clarity. What I'm saying is that we have club licensing regulations. So why are we not abiding by them? And then the club licensing
But
regulations are
David, Mami Musa Lawani questions. Lawani, okay, say, Ubia countries, Ubia one interest. And I say,
Sure.
fa yɛmfa we no analogy no na yɛhwɛ how intentional and strategic China yɛ about the technology companies no na yɛhwɛ sɛ Ghana so yɛyɛ saa about football a yɛka sɛ yɛyɛ interest no
And yeah, absolutely
nti
no.
your point about interest no doesn't even you know arise in the matters of Ghana. You need interest in football. Wohwɛ the way we are intentional about in technology now. Society apply to your football now. This is okay. You're way above this level. And
And Danny, to even add up to what you're saying. In a young class, beside my way, like I said, medical doctor. And in there can be. What would you like to be in the future? Doctor. At the end of the day, you will be a famu, but criteria and that one I require for this. After Jesus, I will tell you. What is it? Guys have after JHS. I had good results. And I was very good with science. Science back in JHS. So now I'm a science master, I'll give me the power. And I had good results. I mean call SS I'm in general art. So I think during the orientation, we had the opportunity to swap. So general art, I know about science, which we swap it. So I had somebody in science who wanted to swap. So after careful consideration and also SSY, you put in seven will be a manual for and a science and no dear for Muna and our faces named Dina. So I decided to stay in my art. So I remember my science teacher came to the school. The man was all the Nyarko. Our yes science. On my coaching campus, I won't who the Nyarko science. So later, I was oh, they minimum lawyer asked. Oh, so we from my name, yeah. And the man was extremely disappointed. I'm like, yeah. But I said, I catch him, meet me just science, So in the first place, right from SHS, my interest in science. I come from my branch called general art. How will I become a doctor? So we all have an interest. As for interest, yeah, everybody has an interest. But that's why we have the need for regulation, so that it is regulated to the point the interest must match your capabilities. So you say, everyone, over
Yeah.
so could Dubai, could holiday, but probably you don't have the means. So you save and go to Lake Bosomtrin or go to beach in Accra. But once you have the ability, you have the capabilities to go to Dubai, you can go and have all the fun. You always say, I have screenshot of things I fancy. You get me? Maybe I have screenshot of cars and stuff that I wish I could drive, but I don't have the capacity now. So people might have interest to do football, but there has to be regulation to make sure that before you even operate a football club, before you have a football venue, because many things is about the venue, before you even have a home ground to play a football match, you have to have the capacity to ensure that the safety of the supporters is guaranteed. Without capacity, so I get the point. I'm seeing you are giving me time stuff anyway. So we will have the interest in football, but it should be done accordingly. We cannot have an excess of 1,000 clubs just like that. No. The law, yeah, interesting. But before you get access to the law, people have to take it to court and everybody have to write exams
and also
and then before you qualify
David,
to be a lawyer.
and one more thing me person making about 1,000 clubs or say teams and I want to say it is say the way and a very typical of Ghanaians. I'm not going to generalize Africans. So maybe we can na me be me me set up my business be now so will be it's to see a back boom maybe a common way in the area a back boom they are benefited from signage obi a bet na obi a bet stand alone na eventually yen lose out on the business hwɛ saa clubs ni nyinaa sika nketenkete ɛwɔ winners ne nsɛm no saa clubs no yɛbɛtumi aka bi a 200 abom na ayɛ one club 200
Yeah,
abom na ayɛ
it's
one
called
club
measures. It's called
na
measures.
sika no
We
obiara sika
encourage
na ayɛ partnership ne yɛ
measures.
ɔmanya
We
sika
encourage.
atɔ equipment ɛne boots ne ade ama nkora na atumi ayɛ facility ɛno na ɔmbɛtumi ensure sɛ there's nkora no even at that level kora ɔmbɛtumi atwa ɔmo aka yi ba ɔmoyɛ no saa 1,000 no wobɛhu sɛ obi bɛbɔ bɔɔl saa ne na ɛma abu so na ɔda so de bɔ bɔɔl
Then
because
we
team
can
ne
even
nim biribiara ne
we are
hwɛ
giving a car. We are amateur player. You don't necessarily have to put the player on salaries, but like you, the healthcare of the players. So, the player treatment, being kind of the player and the first. So, how do we even guarantee? Look at the transportations, the means of transportation for players who travel long distances, and how do we guarantee their health and all that? It's all important because some injuries you are very talented, but being an injury and then let's all be realistic. So quite a lot of lower tier matches like Division 2 and 3. Obi tough for man, you're quite the sachet water and go. Sachet water.
na nipa no ɔde sase wɔta no ɛkɔ no ɔno
You're
nimdeɛ
quite
bɛn
a
na
so.
ɔwɔ knowledge bɛn na ɔwɔ
You're good so. Yeah, because I know it.
It's very true, very true. Time I'm now me play football, me ball hakra. Bobo says we na upra. Wa mo ba no mo de nsu. Pure water. Da jo na bi won ma fa block. Omo ice
When
small
you
one
block
this
crowd
and na
there,
so tia
and that's
yi
what
no.
President Penny Kaka. When you
Not just say
ice crowd
and one first aid no. Na say you can't say be treated. You just like sometimes you ask yourself, is it treatment? But also, of course, no yes, sir. We didn't really have much knowledge about
but that
stuff
was the
like
ɛna
that.
time
But
wonim
going
someone
sɛ
checked
forward,
them
no,
out
Lawani wonim sɛ
the best of
saa
healthcare.
deɛ no saa deɛ no sɛ nipa no sua na ɔnya saa injuries na ɔbɛnyini na afei deɛ ɔbɛtumi wahu bɔne no sɛ ɔbɔ no wɔsɛ injuries no back na asɛ nipa no career because at that
oh
lower
yeah.
level no yɛnhwɛ ɛntriti saa nneɛma no yie ɛmma the right way nti w'ani bɛba ho so nti David you really have a point say saa 1,000 I mean ɛno koraa how do you even keep track of 1,000 clubs how do you
How do
monitor
you even put, how do you even
Me
get data
say
analysis? How do you
say
record matches? How do you get
unim say
data?
no greediness ka ho. Na ya omo de yes had no. Like as you suggested, let's say four people now can be big akra and say we come together now you build one strong team. But because of greediness
Nti say
in a
even
part
at
of
the higher level no
Africa.
FIFA or whatever no say financial fair play so ɛna compliance wɔ hɔ ɛwɔ sɛ ansa na yɛbɛma akɔ ama bɛbɛ a premiership no na wɔ substantial bi a yɛhwɛ wɔ balance sheet yɛhwɛ wɔ facilities a wɔ ɛnyɛ sɛ sɛ bi obiara kɔgye sika suddenly na ɔde bɛgya ha no watwatwa bribe a ɔqualify no ɔno wabɛbɔ league no ɔba bɛduru mu wie a na n'ani so ata ne saa because wɔnni hwee apart from so akɔgye sika watwatwa bribe ɛde abɛba bɛduru na asɛe bɔɔl no ayɛ bɔ no ɛno na ɛma nsuatɛmafoɔ ani berɛ ɔmode ani berɛ akɔkum obi de hyɛ no ɔho sika na ɔmapɛ na ɔmode abɛwura mu a na ɔmaba bɛduru ha structure biaa ni hɔ kɔfa wei baa na ɔmapam no kɔfa wei baa na ɔmapam ade papa bie na ɔmote wɔ mo yɛ ɔben nso ɔna ɔsɛ ɔmo nyɛ tetaala wɔ hɔ
It's very unfortunate. It's
No,
very
it's sad. I mean, I think
unfortunate.
say.
I don't know now. Sad division, sad especially division clubs. No one, bro. Unimia cost. Unimia cost. Say be time power. Like growing up, no me because of say na me play football. Na me name ball bontino. Na me swam structure ne swab. Na me board. I think division 3 that way. And I me call board division 2. Now you call venues nibia, bro. Hey, near me see no. It's so scary. Oh. But just that also mono cameras ne why to me cover some of the incidents until people go scot free. But I tell you, near my course that localities no. Even Premier League na cameras is radiation. You can imagine what goes on there. Those typical areas now sometimes you see the supporters around and they're kind of threatening ne nneɛma a the psychology wise no koraa mpo wogyina park no so koraa ho popo ɛno na wobɛhu sɛ football a ɔyɛ good koraa ogyina park so a ɔntumi breaki ball ayamhyehyeɛ ne adeade you dare to even score a goal You dare to score a goal. And this thing has been happening, especially with the lower divisions. But unfortunately, I say yeah, concentration in number by premier. Premier no so and yet pitch cry, boss cry, basa, airtime, camera.
You said I was on the phone from the guys too much. I think I don't want to mention it, but we'll be on the team there. You said that team, a team. Now,
Aye, ala koswana.
Mr. Obi, but I like Kusu. Yeah, Kusu. Now, what you too much. I'm neighborhood. Some bomb match, some quad number. Like, I'm not saying it's no, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that they have boys who are money a day and almost show action. It's somebody she too, and the team they were playing with is more of a professional club, so don't players there. They talk around. Madam for their ultra matches or they come ultra matches. I was talking about boys about saying, as I imagine him, chow. Also, maybe child at least player do with my popular say, yeah, they're a top player, but I see form, they're a top player, they're a top player, you know. Is it? The lower tiers, is absolutely,
David,
it's
all the
absolutely.
coverage as a baba, me person me bisa. And that boy, I boy, crowd. It's the second half year, and to me, live coverage. And two bones, a bit of evidence, crowd. And I can't some, and you'll be never do me, and yeah, smartphone, a. What do you think is a better way out of this coverage situation?
Danny, for even the football club is business now, and sometimes when clubs call me, especially lower tier clubs, the Division Two clubs, I'm offering me for advice in idea. What I tell them is that it's a walkable match. I don't care whether it's a friendly match or anything. Now, one fan match, if you don't push the match on video, if you don't record the match, open crime memo. What about match in a go? I always tell people, because when Buffalo came to the Ghana Premier League, then the start time last year, connection power was very exciting. A lot of people were coming to watch. So start times not more pay connection pass. So you realize start times be trooping in to take coverage of the match. And not both for any job because they felt say I don't know they be a match. So they called me to seek my opinion. I told them, listen, so start times for being more matches for all matches for the season now. More money. I said more money because at the end of the day, how much do you make at the gate? How much do you make at the gate? When you get you're going to take an away, we are taking home less than 40%. But that match, a start times, is going to be uploaded on international platform. You don't know who's watching. Start times is global network. And then you never know. And lo and behold, although Buffalo was relegated, but in himself, one of the clubs will turn players by Ghana Premier League. It's Buffalo. And it's because of access. So and then the global audience of football is more than the local audience. You never know who's watching for sponsorships, for business of the football to transfer, even to create relevance out there. So I think that the whole thing has to be looked at again. I complained about it when I was involved in Ghana football. Say all matches of Ghana Premier League should be available to watch. All matches. You don't have to select matches. Of course, I know say economically it's not really viable for TV stations because let's be frank with ourselves. In a typical match day week, Kotoko match will give you money, will give you views. House of Folk match will give you views. The rest of the teams, let's be frank with ourselves. How many views did they generate? But the week you cry has no Kotoko ball. That means that out of the 9 matches to be played that week, only 1 match is profitable. The rest of the 8 matches, in terms of streaming, in terms of, and I've seen startups work with startups when I was in Kotoko. They move with numbers. They move with 2 buses. The main bus will carry people along. Then they have the bus that will bring the OB van. Then they have another mini bus, and also work as a. So an average match, Kotoko, an average Premier League match, they have staff around 20, 3 vehicles, 20 staff. They have to give them pay them, they have to pay them. So it's very costly if they want to cover all the 9 matches, looking at the profitability of the matches. Because we have faded a lot of traditional clubs. So a lot of individual clubs are in the system. So we have clubs that will play on a normal weekday that do not have history. You cannot even place the last 5 matches between those two opponents and the history about it. And they don't have history. So the audiences will look at. So I think the FA with the broadcast partners, they should innovate and look at modern trends. Listen, I was sharing this information with people I know, and I realized, maybe at the stadium, when we bought national team, I think Ireland and the Moldova, no one national under 17. And I saw the guy set up something like you. So I wish there to look it. While setting up the camera, it's recording the matches and all that. And recording matches every BR. And it's live streaming, and people at the FA in Ireland are watching. And it was only I stayed there for the guy to come, and he was telling me that something one you can play replays and similar with what we did with VO. VO has now advanced to the extent that it's live streaming and stuff. So there are venues that you don't necessarily have to send the whole crew. You can set up a single camera and it will show the match and show replays and show all the exciting things. And then you can put it on an app. If the NIPA and Shekran, at least it's easy for the class to generate data and have proper discussions. Because it's here away. A match. They say any shots a man boy between the two teams. Listen to radio. What are the analysis that they are doing? Oh, player routine, people, player routine. They say the only stats they will talk about is maybe clean sheet by the 2 goalkeepers and goals by the strikers. And to a large extent, they will talk about assist. But nobody can tell you that Ghana Premier League will be player with the highest number of passes, highest number of tackles, player with the highest number of dribbles, successful dribbles, team ball possession, team kita ball niche, the style of play, team ball win play, team ball, team center back when I really do ask, say one is good in the air. If you goalkeepers in the crowd, one and the kick, like we don't have all those data because those data are extracted from the videos. So there's a lot of benefit than even to the media because imagine you have all this data. What the heck? The same Mo Shaban and Juma way. Mathematics. But imagine Mo Shaban had those access and in a week he can publish players with the highest number of passes to the final third, player with the highest number of. Well, I say maybe there are players anyone who I didn't say they are good players, but statistically you realize that other players who probably don't have names are doing well in terms of statistics and numbers. Ghana Premier League, who has the top speed? We don't know. So, for me, coverage in modern day football is everything. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. Now, Senegalese football is so accessible on the internet. Cote d'Ivoire football is so accessible on the internet. We have to be looking at these opportunities, like the technology, the biotechnology, and the rest live stream. We have to be looking at all these opportunities and help capture our football and get it. International teams here, like I under 20 coach. Maybe he has a database on 100 potential players he can call into the national team. Based on every week, you complete the data. You see, when it comes out to call players, you not sit back and complain because he's using the data and the statistics. But then there's no data. So he has to call players he has seen. If you go on for a player, you think that it's being, but the system you have to operate. It's service you are catchy. The football has really been modernized. So for me, coverage is in a lot of benefits. Sometimes you put in flow, other than you try a match, you one in the match, and then try a match. No, we have to look at the modern trends in the game and look at it well because in that class 1, class 2, class 5, I probably don't need Mbappe. All conference that because of access and opportunity. Children can even analyze Madrid versus Barcelona, how to work on your match. They can have proper argument. It's because of access. By then, we are rather closing the space. We are rather closing the gap. So I think we should open it up. Coverage is very important for me. I think in modern day football, coverage is extremely important. If the match will not be on video, don't play. We shall go here because I want to go share with the center for shot evidence way. You know, but I did go share because the match was on video. You want BBC go of something me boy. At a jail of a journalist, the BBC go BB. Imagine the match was not on TV. The match was not covered. An important goal is lost in history.
Wow, great analysis. But I think say saa nneɛma wei nyinaa ebetumi ayɛ improve. But wɔn say yɛn club reps na yɛ a wɔwɔ FA hɔ no, wɔn nso, to be frank and sincere, they are not doing us any good, honestly. Because meaning say yeah, na wɔn suro, they cannot speak truth
CNN go
to
of the week.
power.
CNN, yeah, CNN go. Yes. And Lawan, you see, but let's look at politics. Politics, for example, MPP, or any MDs, or more 10 Tescom. So basically, what they do is that they have people on the campuses. They look for smart, intelligent young people and poach them and attain and Tescom. They develop them with party philosophies and the rest. So these guys will mature and then they will take over national politics. And if you go to government, parliament, you see, you realize that most of the young MPs are either from TIN or Tescom. And I think there was the issue about some girl, whether it was Tescom or TIN and all that. What are we doing as an FA to poach young guys? Me, now me get in the okay university TV room. Obeba na chinji aye jina na certain Chelsea na me boom kofo ko na me ha mani na me statistics me Barcelona me Liverpool man. And it still goes on today. The boys are interested. Oh, corner investing boy, can say, oh, yeah, I can talk. Player with 70 million, Makoto with 80 million, Mabokano, Sereno, and Makoto Anthony Nabomo. So, but all those are you know, but this tells you that the player has information. And if you what he has here, profit and loss when it comes to football, when it comes to signings. What he has said, it's important for clubs to be economic and not to put a lot of money into young upcoming players who will rather come and become a liability. What I said, maybe Arsenal, Kotoko, I have it, or your typical number 9, or your false 9, but what system, you know. So these are young brains who have interest in sports. They will go on TV rooms to discuss sports or what PS will fear. And what is poaching them, these young brains? Which system is poaching them, like the thing and Tescon into the political system? Why they poach you to motivate them to enter into sports? And to bring that enthusiasm, that ideas into Ghana football to the extent that a top player is looking whether he's making profit, he's looking at the player, whether the player has the ability, how many years will it take to develop the player, what's the potential, a player in the budget league and a player how do we manage? Who is pushing these young brains into the modern day framework? Because I have been to GFA meetings and I was hugely disappointed with the level of discussion. I was extremely disappointed.
Oh, you are.
Because I feel, if you are talking about money, if you are talking about issues, the conversation should not be surrounded about modern stuff for the rest. But sometimes you go in the level of discussion, you think actually maybe football attract to another level. Of course, we need the experienced one to guide us. I have a lot of experienced people that I call if I need any advice on certain issues. We need them. But we have to have a system that those experienced will attract us, the young guys, and give us space to work, to make mistakes, to commit mistakes. I remember guy before doing NC tournament. After I finished my back fresh. I'm going to recruitment, man. Oh, me, yeah, we need to coach be not to get there. Justify 5 players there 12. But if I have this, I know I call you. 12 players now playing my 5 players upon. I don't know, they two that they free. They brainstorm, so I feel my yes sign is my 5 players, papa. No, it's if I one day justify your recruitment. So it was a lesson I learned from recruitment, but they allowed me to make that mistake. They coached me. They gave me a huge house. I always tell people, the only thing I didn't do in football administration is to wear a jersey and play football. There was a friendly match, nearby friendly match. Now me name a coach Nyarko. No, it's a pain for not catch the coach. It's one delay. Now me if I team more match. Now me who how difficult it is to organize a team to play a friendly match. First half, not much in 2-1. No, don't after half time. So guy, what's the chair? What is all you coach chair? What was the first half? You 2 2-1. But at least it was an experience that we go through. We have to really look at the whole issue and find a way to attract young people who are on the internet discussing Arsenal and Man U and tell them, listen, you can bring that knowledge into a Division 2 club, into a Division 1 club. You can come and manage our social media platforms. You can come and bring innovations, our TikTok videos, bring it into the football team, bring that innovation, bring that discussion when it comes to player negotiation, sit in, and then your top player, come and sit and give your opinion, take some courses, online courses, understand sporting director, understand there are a lot of opportunity in communication, learn sports communication, modern ways of communication, so that by the next time, so you generate a new breed of young people who are coming into the football space and who are bringing modernism into football. But if there's no system, and I said, they get a point, they'll fade out. Well, I said, you not develop any new guys who are bringing innovation because, to be frank, we need a lot of innovation. Look at how exciting politics is now because there are a lot of young guys who are popping up here and there, bringing a whole level of energy, discussion here and there. These people are getting to parliament. The criminal claim of our politics. But what system do we have to poach these young, intelligent people and get them into our football clubs and get them into our RFAs and get them into our Division 2, get them into the system so that at least, they create that new environment and new ideas. They come in. I'm not saying they're perfect. They will make mistakes, but they have the ability to guide us and then we keep on getting better. Yeah, man, are so exciting and so attractive. Ebe akra na ebe to say some fraternity bi ane ayo kokafo nko a omunya mrante machine and they think that in the next 50 years the fraternity will be dead because it wasn't attractive to young guys. We have to bring in new innovation into the space because there are a lot of employment opportunities in football. A lot of employment opportunities. Agency, team manager, communication, commercial, you can name it a lot. And yeah, money attractive.
One thing about ways, if you want to improve and you are a leader, you must accept criticism. And it's one way a wiki a system in football because say when you criticize their leadership, they get offended. And see, simple, you need the necessary support, and now they have a certain support. Coach they think sometimes, some of us, the youth of today, that kind of charisma now. We can look at you and point out to you, say, here, you didn't get it right. But it's unfortunate, say, the kind of leadership we have at the top level of our football, no, the person take criticism in good faith. Whatever good, they want it to be acknowledged to them. Whatever bad, they want to wash their hands off. In Tiama, say young guys, sometimes the young guys want to go, but kind of frustration and intimidations that they go through, so we won't say obi say well, maybe because on a
Lawani,
more serious note.
let me put it this way, Lawani. You see, before you qualify to criticize, that's also one problem with the young guys. Before you can be in the position to criticize, at least master the trade. So you cannot name. I made those mistakes and I kind of like I don't know. But then with time, you get to understand why the situation is like that. Let me give an example. About before there was one man who before he's very early, very early, very mature. As a matter of fact, the last born was my senior in SHS. I'm called SHS Form 1. The last born was in SHS 3. And this man was working in a club at the lower level, like a buyer was higher than me. They would give me the budget of the team to travel. And I didn't really figure, the typical Ghanaian humility level. So I told him, I told him like that. And I need to quiet. Mama is kind of farmer, papa. When you tell me, why should I give you instructions? If you want to carry on, okay, you study. It's here to quiet tamale. So when we arrived, I think the place was not ready, but one room was ready for the staff. So as management, what you have to do is to make sure everything is settled. Players have rooms to go and stay. The players are clean. Like the rooms are clean. Players are comfortable. Before management, you try to find a room. You have to sort players out. So we got there, the hotel was like, oh, I have no much by room by quite ready. We had some panel fan the bag, I couldn't want to come out. So that drew my attention to the extent that he might be elderly, but he didn't have that leadership responsibility. And that is why, although we are young and I'm a bamuno, they were giving me a lot of responsibility and they have let that man alone. Until you can go in trying to criticize, especially when you are before the enemy, you realize the system, but at least humble yourself, master the system, know the system, and then carefully you can start to bring changes into the club. You can start to bring changes into the club. Me back, obviously, I wanted to do so many things. I wanted to do Facebook, do Twitter, do Instagram. So one day we organized some brilliant match. We named it night. It was a cup match. And Jeffrey Asai, journalist Jeffrey Asai, he was the one leading the match. And he gave me one of the best advice I had that time. Say, he realized what I was doing. So we were discussing, he told me, listen, Dave, you don't have to focus on trying to build a club overnight and being on all social media. To waste a lot of your time. You will not be focused. Take one social media platform, as you said, your market are more interested in, right? The people you've targeted, they are targeted, we are more interested in. Master it and do it well. Once it becomes better, then you have that leverage of time. You learn the mistakes, you build it up, and then you can move to other social media platforms. And it really helped me. So I stopped every social media. I go to Facebook. I did it well. I had numbers. And within a year, I had a university boy come to me and say, so he likes what I do. But so but no, I'm very good at trader. I'm so challenge me trade time that time in one who's I'm so general boy. And lo and behold, this guy was able to make a post that got AS Roma interested in one of our players. It's one of my stories in football. Unfortunately, we didn't take the right decision, so we lost that game. But he made a single post on Twitter. And we had the whole AS Roma sending us DMs and asking about the player. So, like I'm saying, say, go in there with that humility to learn. Understand the problem before you can solve it. Don't go in there with the mindset of trying to criticize and set back and through, especially if you want to learn. Go in there yourself, learn the trade, master it, and then carefully understand the problems, understand the causes of the problem, and know the best strategies to bring in solutions. They say issues here surrounding stage of at least I've been in the system. I know the problem when it comes to safety and security. So at least I can give certain recommendations that I believe that if these things are accepted by the powers that be, decide to implement that. If for nothing at all, you can reduce 80% of some of these happenings when it comes to our football settings. So with that advice, I'll give any young man, master the system. Before you can change the system, you have to be a master of the system.
Okay, good. Michelle, host, I'm say host the way be to or earlier or cancel the maybe add to the post that people should share and then like so that be trendy. So I will encourage others to also. My visited by my own say the like we sharing and sharing and repost this. One of the ways your voices will be heard. And they say when someone shares something important that we think has to trend for the authorities to get to their attention or to come to their notice. No, we also try and then we retweet and then we repost and stuff like that. It also gets a money trend so that a bit may draw my attention. So I think it's a good thing. We can say yeah active now. Yeah, when we can go there and then we can also share for others too. Yeah, and it's a bit more pushy the message to the top. They are a person message Nikon because this is a brother we are talking about here. And see, we should try and also do that. I will encourage some of us to do that. Yeah, kasa nyina, we can go there and then we can like and then we repost. No, ebe buama message na call to maybe a person message ni do because this is a serious issue about deaf ni saa nneɛma ɛwɔ stadiums ni. It's not proper. So tell me who say we don't like this because at the end of the day, yeah, na ebe san ba behwe ball no. So what you say? So yeah, ebe behwe ball no na fi yes ebe try ho abi prepare ho a discourage others to also nti already na ade na decline deda na saa kind of nneɛma wei san wura mu deɛ na kyerɛ sɛ ɛkum ne koraa. So I think we have to share and retweet it so that it will get to the top. Thank you.
No, you're right. We should all insist on our safety because you cannot involve ourselves in something that does not guarantee our safety. I think that we all should raise our voice at it. The people who have accepted the responsibility to manage and organize football leagues, they should do it right. We cannot suffer this kind of loss. I'm still sad. I am because if for nothing at all, this is a gentleman who is one of the most vibrant young people following Ghana football. Nobody can take that from him. Very vibrant. Even the time he's spending on radio, whether what he's saying, whether you like it or not, but at least he's putting an effort. He comes to the stadium, he's wearing the jersey, he's moving the flag here and there. This guy came to Benin. That is the level of passion. So how many people do we have in the system? Almost I command to say Pooley, and to end up dying because of what you love. And this, oh, Charlie, this. So we all, I think it's a mandate for all of us to all rise up and ensure say it's not just banning of stadium, and everything about match. Now the same thing is happening again. And no. If the stadiums are not safe, I don't see why we should play football. It should be safe and secure. At least our lives should be protected. We should not lose life in such manner at our sports stadiums. It's a big disgrace, a shame on all of us. All of us who have been in football now, it's a big shame on us. We've all caused the demise of our brother. It's a big shame on us.